I've hesitated to share this story because, honestly, I never thought I'd be one of those people who experience something paranormal or unexplained. But it's been genuinely bugging me for months, and I'm hoping someone might shed some light, or at least help me feel a little less weirded out. My boyfriend Jake and I had a bizarre encounter on a camping trip recently, and even after countless conversations, we can't make sense of it. We had been dating nearly a year at this point, both of us pretty outdoorsy. Jake's a hardcore trail runner, and I'm more into long-distance hiking. We thought it'd be cool to do something a little adventurous, so we planned a long weekend trip out around Mount Hood, Oregon. Our idea was basically just to unplug, camp out, and explore some trails that weren't super crowded. Things started off totally normal. Friday morning, we set out early, backpacks loaded with gear, snacks, water, the works. Honestly, the first day was perfect. The weather was gorgeous, trails were awesome, and we spent most of the day joking around, taking pictures, and just enjoying the scenery. It felt great to disconnect from everyday stress. It wasn't until the second day that things got a little weird. It started subtly. I remember mentioning to Jake that the woods felt oddly quiet. Usually you'd hear birds, insects, animals running around something. But it was just still. Jake shrugged it off, but I noticed even he seemed a bit uneasy after a while. That's when we found the footprints. We were following this little-used trail, kinda muddy in spots, when we spotted these huge prints, like really big. At first, we joked it might be some giant mountain man, or even Bigfoot, laughing at the absurdity of it. As I mentioned, we don't really buy into the paranormal. But honestly, the prints were bizarre, long, deep, and clearly barefoot. Jake suggested a bear, but even he didn't seem convinced. We took a few pictures and laughed it off, but the thought lingered in our minds longer than we expected. That night, we made camp in a clearing, built a small fire, and tried to chill out. But as soon as it got dark, things changed. We heard this weird noise, deep, loud, almost like an ape or something calling from somewhere in the woods. Neither of us recognized the sound, and it kept coming back, echoing from different directions like something was circling the camp. Jake got pretty freaked, which freaked me out even more, because he's usually the one calming me down. We ended up putting out the fire early and hiding in our tent, feeling ridiculously vulnerable. We lay there listening. Every snap or rustle outside sent my heart racing. Eventually, exhaustion won out though, and we both fell into this uneasy sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night, absolutely terrified. Something huge was walking around just outside our tent. The footsteps were heavy, deliberate, and close. Way too close. Jake grabbed my hand, and we both lay as still as we could. Whatever it was circled slowly, sniffing loudly, breathing in this deep, guttural way that I've honestly never heard from any animal before. We stayed completely still, hardly breathing, just waiting for whatever it was to move away. It seemed like forever before the footsteps faded back into the forest. Morning finally came, and when we crawled out of our tent, we found fresh footprints all around us, huge and deep, just like the ones we'd seen earlier. That was enough for us. We packed up in record time and started the hike back immediately. The hike out was tense. Every noise made us jump, and a few times we thought we saw something large moving between the trees, always just out of clear view. By the time we reached the car, we were mentally exhausted, barely talking on the drive back to the city. Since then, we've tried to rationalize it. Maybe a bear, maybe pranksters, but nothing completely fits. The weird footprints, the sounds, and that eerie presence just won't leave my mind. Jake jokes about it now, but I know at the time he was just as shaken as I was. Honestly, I can't help but wonder if we stumbled onto something way stranger than we'd ever imagined. Has anyone else experienced anything similar, or does anyone have any thoughts? I'm open to theories because, frankly, I'm still pretty creeped out.